The Yankees have maintained the lead in the AL East, although it is dwindling after a tumultuous week where they lose a series to Cincinnati because they don't know how to hit in extra innings, but then win a series against Oakland, no city designation. On the backs of the offense of Jazz Chisholm Jr., Aaron Judge was able to step up. But during all of this time, there were 3 reports coming out, different guys on the same team that the Yankees are at least monitoring. And you may think to yourself, this sounds quite familiar. What's going on, guys? King of 161st Gen. I'm back with another video. And earlier on this month, I posted a video talking about how Yankees fans have to be careful what they wish for when they ask for certain qualities in certain players, not asking for a certain quality of player. Because with the needs that the Yankees have, the 3 guys I listed as guys who can fill that role are Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, BRYAN HAYES, and Dennis Santana. And lo and behold, the Yankees have had all 3 of those guys come up in reports as guys they are monitoring. And in that video, I was more putting that out as a PSA, not really as an official report. So now that it's an official report, I gotta break this down. So like the video, subscribe if you're new. Let's get right into it. Starting off with the guy I most want the Yankees to get out of those 3, and that is Dennis Santana. Dennis Santana right now is serving his 3-game suspension after the altercation he had with a fan. Fans are getting a little ridiculous nowadays, but that's neither here nor there. Other than that, this has been a renaissance season for Dennis Santana. The 29-year-old is putting up a 1.5 ERA with a less than a 0.8 whip. Those are some elite numbers. As all of you know, Dennis Santana was on the 2024 team, and we ran him out of town. Okay, what's different? Well, there is a stark difference, starting with the slider. When he was in the Bronx and elsewhere after the Yankees got rid of him, he had about 17% less usage of that slider. He has bumped that up all the way to about 48% of his pitches are slider. And this year, hitters are hitting around a 150 batting average, a less than 300 slug against that slider. At this point, he has basically said, okay, my fastball is not elite enough to get hitters out. I have 2 pitches that do kind of the same motion. So I'm going to use one of those pitches a lot more than the other pitches. And that has grown to elite success for Dennis Santana. Putting that fastball up against that elite slider is now making him a weapon, lowering the amount he's using the cutter, lowering the amount he's using the changeup. He's found his pitch. That's what's different here. And that's what Matt Blake can build off of. When he was in New York, there was not much to build off of with Dennis Santana. He was just kind of flowing, and that's where he ran into trouble. Now he has the foundation, and that's what you're seeing the success with, is that foundation. That's why I want Dennis Santana here, because he also fills probably the biggest need for the Yankees. You saw it in this last game against the no city designation A's. JT Brubaker does not belong in this bullpen. Ian Hamilton does not belong in this bullpen. I know he was good last year. He has been hot ass. The Schlambio, or whatever they call it, is not Schlambeing. He's getting into fights with rookies because they're not running out of the box after hitting a ground ball to him. He just seems like an angry guy because he's not succeeding. And that's not going to lead to more success. Ian Hamilton might have to go, and the Yankees do have other guys that they could fill in there. Ryan Yarbrough's going to be out of the rotation at some point. He will be thrown back in the bullpen once Luis Gil comes back, but they need a guy who can right the ship. Dennis Santana can be that guy, or even more, and allow some of the other guys below him, like a Yarbrough, to be that guy to right the ship when we're up 7-0 and we need to save the bullpen. Adding more insurance to that bullpen is what the Yankees need, and Dennis Santana is that guy. So that's why I think number 1 priority of these 3 is Dennis Santana being acquired. Now let's get to the guy that I wouldn't be opposed to getting, and that is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa this year has about a 240 batting average. Not the worst, but he has around a 600 OPS. He is around a 90 to 95 WRC plus. He is not doing a great job of creating runs. He has 0 pop, because with that 246 batting average, 1 home run, 20 RBIs. This is a guy that if we wanted him to be a starter, this would be a terrible option. But the fact that the Yankees are looking to use him as more of a utility guy, sort of what DJ LeMahieu was doing, or what Oswald Peraza's been doing. He's better than both of them. DJ LeMahieu has hit the wall, and Oswald Peraza, it's time to end the experiment. It's over. Maybe he's a change of scenery guy, but here in New York, he is done. There is no more, oh, but he was a top prospect. Oh, but he was supposedly better than Volpe. It's over. We've seen the levels of Oswald Peraza. Does he show you moments of excellence? Sure. He's never able to put it all together. And it is kind of poetic justice that it would be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa that would probably lead to an Oswald Peraza DFA, because Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's career ended because of Oswald Peraza. Quite funny to me. But besides that, as a utility option, he is probably the best available because he's not going to want a huge role. He can defend at all three of the positions that could utilize that spot. Second base, shortstop, third base. If you wanted to give Volpe days off now because of his struggles, he can play that shortstop spot. But mainly second and third, he can play either of those spots on occasion. I wouldn't want him to be a full-time starter. And there's another guy here that may be that full-time starter, and I don't even know if I want him. But as the utility role, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is a great option for the Yankees to get. Again, that really depends on price. If another team is willing to overspend to get Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, let them get Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He's not as important to me as Dennis Santana is. But getting Oswald Peraza out of this lineup consistently, getting DJ LeMahieu more time out of this lineup consistently is a great option. Now let's get to one of the more out there option, one of the more controversial options, and that is BRYAN Hayes, the son of former World Series champion with the Yankees, Charlie Hayes. A point that I saw on Twitter, this would be a great way that the Yankees could sell certain giveaways, is if you had his son on the team, now you get a Charlie BRYAN duo bobblehead, do something like that. It would make money for the organization. But if we're talking about on field, BRYAN Hayes would improve this team defensively by 100 miles, because he would play third and Jazz would go back to his primary position at second, where he could utilize that range, get the balls up the middle, get into the gaps, and absolutely wreak havoc. This defense would go from good and a lot better than last year to great, miles better than last year. The problem is offensively. BRYAN Hayes is borderline worse offensively than Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Do you know how bad you have to be worse than Isaiah Kiner-Falefa? A lot of it has to do with his bat pass. And so this brings me to my point on BRYAN Hayes. BRYAN Hayes is a great option if you believe that the James Rousing hitting experience can fix him. Because if you cannot fix the swing of BRYAN Hayes, this fan base will eat him alive. He will not last long, and he's on a long-term deal. The potential is there. He's still young, and he's still one of the best defenders at third base. He's got one of the highest defensive runs saved at third base in all of Major League Baseball. He would make the defense on this team go from an 80 to 100, but offensively he may drag us down, and that is the type of trade-off that Cashman and Hal have to look at, and they have to say to themselves, can he improve on this? Can he at least become closer to league average? Because if he cannot, he will not survive, and Yankees fans will pin this on that front office for years if they have to spend the type of money they gave to Aaron Hicks on a guy who's going to perform offensively worse than Aaron Hicks did. And I like the talent of BRYAN Hayes. BRYAN Hayes, to me, seems like a good player defensively. I like that talent. I thought at some point the hitting would just come. The fact that it hasn't would scare me. And the money attached to him would scare me. Maybe you could get off of a deal doing this. Maybe, you throw in a DJ to get off of that contract. But then you're kind of doing a equal swap. So I don't know what good that would do. I think Pittsburgh would be trading BRYAN Hayes to get off of that deal, and the Yankees wouldn't have to give them much because they're taking on the contract of Hayes. Truthfully, that's one of those things that it's a gamble if you got BRYAN Hayes. That would be a huge gamble to get a guy who hasn't performed offensively, to throw him into the Bronx and say, hey, you didn't perform in Pittsburgh. Hey, now it's time for the big times. You better perform now. Maybe with the combination of Charlie Hayes knows the guys in the organization. He could get them with some better guys. They could start working on some things a little bit more closely, but you better be sure, or this could turn sideways in a hurry. That's my breakdown of this three-man crew that the Yankees are looking into. Let me know down below, what do you guys think? Which of these three do you want the most? Outside of these three, who would you want to go out and get? They're not looking at Eugenio Suarez. I don't think the Diamondbacks want to trade him. Jacob deGrom is probably off the board, so let's try and be a little bit more realistic here. Who are the Yankees' options to fix these issues? Let me know down below. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.